Test.
Broadcasting live from upstate New York, a technology talk show that puts you and your questions first.
Yeah, baby, it's Tech Talk Live.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. All right, up and running.
We are up and running.
Hey,
You're listening to Tech Talk Live.
and we are a computer talk show with your host, JJ.
JJ sitting at the helm today.
Yes, you are.
I hope he's got a steering wheel, man.
I know we're gonna crash, right?
No,
That's
he's got to
great.
put his flaps out for crashing.
Right.
So, why is Flipper over in that chair over there? I wonder why that is.
I'm only in this chair for about 5 seconds. I just want to say hi and then make sure
Hi,
you guys
everybody.
you made a good job. I want to say
All right.
you're in
Up and running.
like Flynn, baby.
All right.
You got prior commitments. Huh?
I got to go shoot a wedding, so I'm out for a little bit.
You're
so.
out for a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, he's shotgun weddings. I hate
Shotgun
them.
Marry me now. But yeah, so no, I just want to say I'm sure you guys got a great show, so I'm just gonna
wish us the best.
I'm wishing you the best of luck, and hopefully Oscar will stay out of your way down here.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
Well, it's like I say, we're a technology talk show. Call in and tell us if you want to talk about something. We love to hear from you.
I ask.
And the phone number is,
315-220-0692.
or email us at.
Tech Talk Live NY@gmail.com.
You guys got this down. I'm out, man. This is great.
You're out of here. He doesn't want you
Pull
to
the
leave.
hair right out of his chest.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't want you to leave.
I don't want to leave either, but hey, you know what you got to do. What you got to do, right? Actually, I like weddings too, so you know.
Have a good time.
Have a
All
good
right,
time.
thank you.
Enjoy your
Good luck with
technology.
everything. Just make sure to mute my mic. So
All right.
everything else.
Mute it.
Sounds great.
Pew pew.
Pew pew, all gone.
All right, what do we got to talk about today? We would like a caller. That would help us out horrendously.
Horrendously.
Any and all donations are greatly appreciated, and anytime that we need a sponsor, please feel free to sponsor us. Contact Jim at fingerlakes1.com, and I'm always for that sponsor because I keep going out and asking and asking and asking.
Asking.
So what do you got on your agenda,
our
or on
promos
our inner pot of cookies or cauldron or whatever you want to
Just
call
one
it?
last thing. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/TechTalkLive,
Right.
and we're also on Twitter.
So a lot of people have been complaining about that. I think we got it straightened around, but you go to Tech Talk Live site itself, and you can't click on it. If you
Okay.
can't upload it there, go to Finger Lakes 1 and click on Tech Talk Live there, and then you can download any of the dates.
All right.
So I found that out, too, so I was trying to help somebody
You check
else.
us out on YouTube, I think, as well, right?
No, I don't go to YouTube or that tube or...
Any kind of tubes?
No, the only tube I get is the inner tube in the pool.
Ah, very nice, very nice. And be using that today, too, I'm sure.
No, I'm going. I got a lot of things to do today. I'm going to, like I said, down to my buddy's. Well, not my funeral, but it's my buddy's festival today. Down to
Right.
Jackass Festival down to Swedish Hill Wineries. Oop,
Very
I'm
good.
mentioning a product. I'm sorry, too bad.
Sorry, too bad. So sad. Anyway.
that's where I'm going, and then this afternoon it's fireworks over the Phelps Kraut Festival. So
Very
I got
nice.
quite an activity list lined up.
Very good. Anyway, talking about your podcast information, if anybody wants to learn a little bit more about podcasts, you can add any podcast to any iPhone device or iOS podcast app anyway. You don't really have to have iTunes to access your favorite podcasts.
Get on the keyboard and key something off or
Right.
something, yeah.
Oh, he's our buddy. Our favorite mascot.
So,
I got a quick tip to add any podcast you have. A link into podcast app on your iPhone or iPad.
yeah.
It's pretty neat, yeah. The podcast app on your iOS is a great way to subscribe, listen to, or even watch your favorite podcast while you're on the go. That iTunes makes it simple to find and subscribe to new podcasts from your iOS device. What would you want to subscribe to a podcast that isn't in iTunes? As Macworld pointed out a while back, you can add a non-iTunes podcast to the app using a not-so-obvious method, actually. And even before you add the podcast, the app, you'll need a direct link to the podcast, sending it to yourself over an iMessage or an email. It'll make your life easier having having to type that whole URL into the status line there in order to get your podcast.
All right.
When you're on the main screen of the podcast app, slide down the search field from the top. In the search field, enter the URL of the podcast you wish to subscribe, and then press search. You should then be asked to confirm your subscription to the podcast, and once selected, subscribe. The podcast should be added to your device. It's pretty easy. And that way, you don't have to rely on all iTunes, just podcasts only. You can get any one of them that are out there.
Now, I have a question, which probably a lot of other people have too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't have an iPhone or an iPad or an whatever. Okay. I got an eye for good things, but other than that, when you these apps that they keep saying about, these apps,
right?
How much do they cost? Do they cost you anything, or are they free, or some are free and some are not, or
some are free, some are not? There's a lot of good ones out there that are just free. Majority of
a lot of them out there are just junk, aren't they, or not? Right. Well, I can't say that. I mean, they're not
there's
useful.
Some that's not as useful as others.
Right. I had to.
Some are 99 cents, range from 99 cents up to
and that's per month or per one download.
Just
or
one
what?
download. Just download it to your phone.
So you can use it over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
But I was just wondering about that because, like I said, somebody asked me that question, and I says, I really don't know. I says, I got to do a little research on it. And
right. And
you were the one that has the iPhone type stuff.
The iPad, right? You can get these for the Droid as well. Your other smartphones.
Kindle Fire, any of them.
Right.
What's that one there that they just hand you? Was the Nexus something or something?
The Google Nexus 7 tablet review.
So that's that can have apps too. You know what I mean?
Right. It's all what your carrier supports and what you utilize. I use the iPhone. Happen to get a large majority of apps that they have available.
I myself, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not saying that I don't like one, but I have no use for a slate or a tablet or any of that stuff. When I say I have a phone, I have a phone to call 911.
You have a 7-digit dialer on the phone, on the wall still.
Well, I still got my line connect, but I guess they're going to phase that out in the next 5 years. I read something the other day about that. They're phasing that out, or going to try to phase that out.
I haven't heard anyway. I know for all emergency service purposes that there's still the connectivity is going to be there for 911, but as far as fading it out, I haven't heard.
Well, they're getting less and less and less people that have being hardwired in.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to mobile.
So, like I say, if it comes to a point, the consumer dictates, not the government. The consumer dictates. So if it's not feasible for Verizon, AT&T, or any of these others,
or if they're not getting their money,
they're going to phase that out.
Right.
And like I said, I think the article said in 5 years, or maybe less than that, or more than that. I just happened to skim across it, see it, and I says, oh, well, it doesn't pertain to me. So if they take that phone away, I've still got my
your cell phone.
Cell phone.
Right.
But here again, now you got all these cell phones and no directory.
Right. And you got your IP phones on the internet.
Yeah, all these phones here that are internet phones. And
look how we do our show. We do it right over.
Right. Our phone calls come in through.
Right.
Come through Google Plus. Right. So, no, I was just saying these apps. We're getting back to the apps again. You know what I mean?
Right.
How much they cost, or are they feasible? Are you using all your apps? I see you had a guitar or a git fiddle or something on there playing music.
Right.
Pew pew.
Pew pew. That was the garage band. It's got drums. It's got the guitar. It's got the.
Is that
keyboard.
An app?
That was an app.
That was cost you how much?
Actually, I think that cost me $6.99. Actually, I think to download for the entire app.
For one use, or I mean for. You download it and you can use it forever and ever and ever, right?
Right.
Until
I use it
until they upgrade the app and you got to get a better one, right?
Right. Exactly.
So
And I'm on the cloud, so it goes both right to my iPad, and it goes right onto my cell phone as well. So I can use it on either device, which is nice.
If I can find that article again, I ran across an article, How Secure is the Cloud App?
Right.
And I kind of, skimmed through it. I didn't really, word for word read it. I just skimmed through it, and there was a lot of information in there that the cloud apps aren't that secure. I haven't had any problems anyway. I haven't heard of any problems. Well, I'm just saying. They were saying, how secure is it? So I just kind of read it quick because I says, well, geez, that would be a good one for either JJ or Flip to talk about,
Right, we'll have to look into it and see what it has.
So I'm going to have to go into it a little deeper.
Right. So, anyway, back on some of the other podcast things, there are like 3 other ones. If you don't have the podcast app for, if you're not using iPhone, there are other apps out there that I found. One is Downcast. It's a $1.99 podcaster. As soon as you download it, you use it forever. Another one is Instacast that I found. Yeah. And the third one is actually the one that we broadcast out on the show through Finger Lakes One TV is Stitcher Radio as well. And that's
Stitcher Radio, right?
It's Stitcher Radio, yep. It's an app.
I just heard of that one.
Yeah, but I've got that actually on my phone.
Yeah.
And that was, I think that was a free download, actually. And the Instacast was a 99-cent download.
Oh. So. No, I was just wondering because they keep hearing about all these apps that you can get on there. Well, I put this app on and I don't like it. I can't get my money back. That's gone.
Right. I know with mine, if I get an app that I don't use, I can like deactivate it almost and it goes back off into the cloud and just kind of sits there. And if I ever want to use it again, I just click on it's there. I click re-download. I've paid for it once and I have full-time use of it. Okay.
I mean, these are some of the questions that a lot of these viewers would probably like to call in and ask us questions about it. Please do so at
315-220-0692 and get your name in on the drawing.
Yeah. Also get in on a drawing.
Right. I think we got another, $25 iTunes card?
Yep, $25 iTunes card. That's if you like iTunes.
Right, exactly.
So instead of paying for iTunes to tune them, and you get a card and you already got them down.
Right.
So how much are these tunes anyway?
The majority, one song usually is 99 cents.
So that would give you, about 25?
99 cents will give you one song. So they give you about 25 songs.
25 songs to an iPad.
Well, there's albums out there that you can download the entire albums. They range from $10 to probably $25 as well. You can download the entire album.
Well, I don't know what we're going to give away next month. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. This month it's going to be another iTunes. Right. But I ain't going to give away that Mercedes-Benz.
It's parked in his driveway. Actually, don't let him kid you.
With no plates on it, right?
Right.
After I bought it, I can't afford the plates.
Right, can't afford insurance. What are you talking about?
So
anyway, what do you have over there?
You got more apps or nothing, or we want to wind it down, or
I got something I can touch back on later. It's only
okay. I'm going with some of the stuff that I'm trying to get off the table and get rid of, so that they can go in the shredder.
All right.
Excuse me. Oh. But anyway, FCC is the ISP's better on meeting advertised broadband speeds, and the U.S. IPs are advertising more accurate expected broadband speeds.
Huh.
So, according to the FCC, with some customers experience speeds that will exceed what they are actually pay for. The U.S. Federal Communications, FCC, annual State of the Union on the ISP broadband performance shows most Internet providers are offering speeds as advertised, while others are offering Internet access speeds that exceed customers' expectations. Well, I wish my speed would exceed what my... Because, like I say, I play that Diablo. Right. I found out my cable coming in had water in it, and it was making that game so jerky, and I was getting
Jerky bogged down.
Oh yeah, I was getting mad about it because you'd go on and play just so far what it downloaded,
Right.
and then all of a sudden it would reiterate and boom, move you back about 15 steps, and you'd have to go through it again.
Did they have to come in back in and replace your cable there? Or
Yeah,
what?
they clipped the ends and found that there was water in the lines, and then they re-updated all the things in the cellar. So they've done a good job. I got to pat the Cablevision people on the back. So anyway,
Very nice.
on the whole, ISPs are reaching 96% of advertised speeds during peak hours, up by 9% a year ago. Well, peak hours are pretty tough on the internet.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
And like I said, sometimes you sit there and wait, and it just, keep asking and asking and asking it, and finally it comes through.
Right.
So I found that out, but I can remember that way back when we used to have a 300 baud modem.
Oh, my God.
And all you did was direct connect from phone line to phone
line.
Well, direct, you call the house direct, and then the baud modem would be hooked up.
Uh-huh.
And an 8K would take like 15 minutes to download,
Oh, my God. Right? It would take like 8 hours.
Now you're talking about 8 gigs downloading in less than 3 minutes,
Right.
depending on the speed. So older technologies such as DSLs are being outshone by more reliable cable and fiber services. I'd love to have fiber services,
Right.
but like I said, they're, 3 blocks away. They just don't come up my street.
Right.
So everything I do goes down the street to this fiber optic, and then it gets on that and gone.
So you got a
So-
dead end at your house, pretty much.
No, well, it's not dead end. The fiber optic is down the street, but like I say, it goes into that fiber optic, and then it's gone. You
Right.
know.
Okay.
So if they run up the street with fiber optic, that would be ideal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, obviously. I don't see why they wouldn't. You got the
Well-
school right there at the end.
Well, it's
Why wouldn't they
just
connect to school at
the
the end?
same reason why haven't they connected to the county?
Right.
It runs right by the county on North Road up there.
It does. The county needs to invest in a nice fiber optic ring, I think, for the county.
Well, I'm just saying, the Thruway has had that fiber, 7 cables out there the size bigger than your arms.
Right.
7 of them laid in there, and can you imagine those hair fiber optics, how many there is going through
God,
that?
Can you imagine? Imagine if you cut that
Yeah,
accidentally.
But I'm just saying, the amount of stuff that goes through fiber optics, you know what I mean? And here we say with the school,
Uh-huh.
well, I'm just saying, you're right over next door behind me is the county,
Right.
I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying the county is
County's
right over,
right.
right
Just a
next
block
door
away,
to me,
pretty much.
which, like I say, 1 block north of me is the other fiber optic that comes down from Ontario Trumansburg,
Tell-
fiber optic line.
Right.
So, I mean, we got fiber optics all over the place, north and south of me and everything else, and I just can't get one. But anyway, I'd love to have them come so I could test one out,
Well, right. Even if they get the county could invest in a fiber optic ring that ties the entire county together. And think of the business opportunities you could get as well to move in, because they're looking for
The county
High
don't.
speed.
The county or the government. I got to say this: the government don't look at any of this stuff as a money-making proposition. All they want to do is tax the dollar. I'm sorry, I don't want to get on politics,
Right.
but I'm just saying they feel that by taxing us, that's what replaces their money, not what they can invest in. And
right. I mean, I look at Ontario County. Ontario County's got a huge one that they're just up and fired up and are now running,
right,
which are linking together with Monroe counties. I mean,
well,
that's
you can
one-
link anywhere with fiber optic.
Think the communications and everything you can get, drop of a dime back and forth.
And like I said, all these are they going to put these towers out of commission? You know what I mean? These towers that you got relay stations. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So how fast is that? There's not going to be any delay in anything. You know what I mean? I mean it's instant. Light
Right.
is instant. That's why fiber optic is light, right?
Right, exactly.
So if you had a call or something, and I mean, how many milliseconds is a delay to get to the repeater to repeat, to send it out to the police officer that's way over in the backwoods,
Right.
I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Fiber act just would have been instant,
Yep.
So not that I'm going to say it means the difference in, 3 seconds in the total,
Right.
it's not going to mean anything. But anyway, any other comment on this before I go on for outshore?
Well, I have my own personal comments, but...
Well, it's like I say, your personal comments could be, you know what I mean, a detriment or not.
Right, exactly. So
anybody else got anything, you can always call us at
315-220-0692. Get your name in the drawing. We got our little cup here. It's ready to go.
Oh, yeah, Christmas cup.
Right, exactly.
We're going to draw it at Christmas. So
it's Christmas in July. Oh, wait a minute. That's gone already. Never mind.
Christmas in August.
There you go.
To the extent where fiber customers in particular are getting more than they actually pay for. See, this is just about what I was saying, the speed of fiber, and when you have to get down and relay it and generate it in light pulses to put it in fiber to go anywhere. And then they used to say about years ago about the latency. You know what I'm saying, the latency?
Okay.
And my son and I, Flip and I have argued about this latency for years. And we would ping and all this other stuff and try to find out what the latency was. Well, we found out where the latency is at the end of the line.
Right.
And then when they're resending that information, that's where it is, at the end of the line. When it comes across the United States, there's no latency whatsoever. It's there within a blink of an eye.
Right, exactly.
So it's on either end. It isn't just, anywhere in the middle, unless you've got someplace, a tower that stops you. So anyway...
You could be floating out there in the cloud.
So anyway, we still go with DSL unless they're on fiber optics,
Right.
DSL remains high at the bottom of the list with 84% of the advertised speeds, cable saw an average of 99%. Fiber saw the greatest average download speeds of 117% of the average speeds during peak hours. All three services saw improvements on the last years. And then I got all this stuff with the ratings, when I'm saying ratings. From 2011 to now, and it's like AT&T. I'm not using them just specifically. But 2011 was 81%, and 2012 was 87%. So they had an increased speed. Cablevision was 54% in 2011, and they're 120% in 2012 because cable has gone more fiber. I'm going to say that would be the reason, and I would say it would be more fiber optics.
Right.
And I get a whole list, and Verizon Fibers, the advertised speed was 114%, and
is that their FiOS? Just a
it's
regular
Verizon
connectivity?
Fiber, and they got Verizon DSL, and they both increased dramatically. So, nice. But I can remember back years ago when Flip was living at the house or our house, and he put in the Verizon DSL.
Right.
And we compared speed. And we had the technician right there. And he couldn't believe that I was done with the download, and his DSL was still downloading. He says, I got to check into that. So then he come over and put the meter on my computer,
right,
as well as Flip's computer, and he just saw the dramatic difference between the two.
Come on over, everybody.
He just saw the difference between the two, that cable just, swamped them, just got blown right out of the water. And there was no adjustment that they could do or whatever,
Right.
So anyway, Cablevision saw the worst performance in 2011, reaching just 54% of peak time average download speeds. But the customers who stuck around will have seen that loyalty pay off. Its broadband users are now seeing greater than advertised download speeds, par with the Verizon FiOS fiber customers. So, I mean, I've seen a big difference in cable,
right,
over the period of time. And then when I finally got water in it, and then that really messed it up. And now when they put that, it's like day and night, downloads and everything.
Right, zipping right back through the process.
They're really going to it. How's our time, and what do we got to see?
Well, it looks like it's about that time, I think, to take a commercial break, I think.
Well, we can do that if you want, and go to it, and we'll come back onto the show.
See if I can remember how to do this.
So,
anyway,
You're talking with?
You're talking with JJ.
Well, Tech Talk Live with?
With your host, JJ.
JJ and Snide. And I'm Flipper, and I'm gone.
We'll be right back after these brief messages.
Okay. Very good. I mean, I probably could have run that for him, but I just says, you got so damn much shit
Right.
that if I get a little flustered with something, I don't back up. I try to correct it, instead of backing up and see where I was.
So many sights to see on the internet, but for everything local, there's no place you can get it. At fingerlakes1.com. Come on over to fingerlakes1.com. Make us your homepage. News, weather, sports, and fun. Log on to Finger Lakes One.
www.fingerlakes1.com.
You're listening to Free Music by Dano. Download free MP3s at danosongs.com.
We're back. You're listening to Tech Talk Live, and you're watching us as well.
Yeah, if you want to watch us, yeah.
Right? Anyway, we're a local technology talk show broadcasting live from upstate New York. If you have a computer question or
Technology question.
technology question?
Any technology. It could be about an automobile technology. I was looking at a friend's car the other day.
How about the number real quick?
Oh, the number.
Right.
If you want to call us and talk to us about it, give us a call. 1-315-220-0692. Anywhere in the United States. Bring it on, baby.
And we'll see what we can do to answer your questions.
Wait for it.
Or just even wait for it one more time. No. Or if you just want to say hi, give us a call.
Right. Even a call gets you in the drawing. Just howdy, great show, bye. Oh, am I in the drawing now?
You're in the drawing.
Yeah.
Right.
I get the drawing all right. They'll draw a mustache on my face in every picture I own. So
anyway,
I was saying about these automobiles. A friend of mine down the street just bought a new automobile from General Motors, and he was saying the thing talks to you all the time. And I says, "Worse than my GPS?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, and then when you get people talking in the car, it gets the computer confused.
Oh, definitely. If you're trying to do something with it, like
right.
a location or make a phone call and somebody else talks.
Well, or change a station or try to get GPS for something. Oh, I want to go to this restaurant. Is there any restaurants like that in this neighborhood? And it'll bring up the whole list of all these restaurants. How about gas stations?
Right.
Gas stations within a 25-mile radius, and it'll bring them all up, you know what I mean? And
I like
the technology of this stuff,
Right. We, at my place of employment anyway, we received a new technology that's, unfamiliar with us. There was an accident, and all of a sudden the phone's ringing, and it's, "Hi, this is so-and-so product. We have a consumer that's been involved in a motor vehicle accident. Please press, the pound key if you would like to talk to the operator of the vehicle live." I'm like, wow.
Well,
that was awesome.
Now just think if they incorporated that into 911.
Right. Unfortunately, we couldn't make the connection, so I'm not sure what happened there, because a lot of these, new cars sync with your cell phone, so
yeah.
It automatically makes a call for you.
Yeah, dial up so-and-so. I want to talk to JJ, get him.
Right, so if the phone, is turned off or gets lost.
Well, it was like you demonstrating your, whatever that phone is there.
Right.
What is it?
The iPhone 4S.
iPhone.
Yep.
Remind me of the anniversary tomorrow. At what time, sir?
Yeah, and it made an event.
And then you couldn't delete it. That's what got me, is you couldn't delete it. That was the best part, and it had to remind you tomorrow of that.
I would have to go in and check my calendars and undelete it. It's a little bit of a process. I figured it out, but you just can't say, cancel that for me. But
well, you could have moved it down to the right date.
I'm sure there's right. I'm sure there's a way of doing it. I just need to read up on my technology anyway.
So anyway, technology is great, and it's getting so awesome that any one individual that says that he is up on all this stuff, he's got to be an Einstein.
Right, because it's new every day, it seems.
I myself, with all this technology going on, like I said, way back when I first started in the computer stuff and all this, and we were writing our own programs.
Right.
And
is that
then we got
the dot slash?
No. It was
wasn't the DOS. It was
00106 AB, or 0F or something like this. I can't even think of it now.
Anywho.
But like I said, technology has advanced so far that we were writing our own programs and then turned around and it got so far advanced that I couldn't write them anymore because it was easier to just type them in.
Right.
So they would print them all out, and you could read what the program was, print them all out, and a 7.5K program, and then you'd had to go through and debug it.
Right. And how long did that take you to do that?
Yeah, that was a couple hours.
Oh, at least.
So, like I say, all this stuff that's so far advanced, If somebody says that they know all about all this stuff, they got to be
Right, Einstein.
better than a space scientist, you know. Whatever.
Would that be a rocket scientist?
Rocket scientist.
Right,
yeah.
right, okay.
Memory's not too great today for some reason because I got too many things going on, you know, in it. It must be the marbles rattling. Give me a call if you think they're too loud.
Right.
315-220-0692.
Right, or email us.
Yeah.
Email us at techtalkliveny@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'd appreciate any comment. Please feel free to do so, you know.
Correct.
So anyway, let's see. I think what I've seen here is this is Tech News World.
Okay.
Facebook sinks on the user satisfaction curve, and this has been on national news here a couple of days ago.
I saw the article. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, though.
But I'm just saying this was on regular ABC or CBS,
CNN.
NBC, one of them. You know,
Very good.
that they're on a slump, and then the stock market too. Was it Facebook or was it
I know Facebook.
Yahoo or one of them?
I heard the Facebook stock just came back up a little bit.
It come up a little bit,
Right, right.
But I think
I
it
did
took
remember
a
seeing
hell
that.
of a dive.
Right, when it first came out, it took a dive there for a while.
And like I said, Facebook users appear increasingly unhappy with their experience on their social network. They're annoyed by the ads and irritated by the compulsory switch to the timeline format. Worst, they left wanting a whole lot more than Facebook is delivering with its lack of luster mobile presence. Google Plus users are, on the other hand, are pretty well satisfied. So, I mean, that's just a overall analysis of it, you know, of what it is.
It's just a matter of getting used to,
What you want to do with it.
what you want to do with it. Exactly.
Right. So it's the biggest thing is actually your satisfaction and what you expect out of it.
Right.
Let's see. I use Facebook.
Your satisfaction is only, what you do with it, too, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's like I say. I got Facebook and I'm still stumbling around it. I don't even have the foggiest idea how to do this and that. I wanted to change my picture. I went in there and 6 different times I tried to change that picture, even though I've uploaded several pictures, you know.
Right.
But what I want is the one that's on the Facebook, and it pops up there, was something Flipper took of me in Walmart, you know.
It's a good Walmart picture.
So
Have you ever seen those jokes with the Walmart customers?
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm not going to go there.
But that's on my Facebook mountain lion.
Right. Exactly.
So, but anyway, I'm trying to find where there's instructions on this, and I really haven't found anything. There probably is, but I'm just not finding it. You know.
Well, yeah,
But-
we'll have to sit down and we'll get it changed for you.
But I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to find instructions, you know, and they say, oh, they're there. Where are they? They're hidden somewhere.
Right, make it a little easier, more accessible.
I'm going to have to go Google this thing for instructions how to do Facebook, you know? Yeah, you put your eye in it.
Right.
So, you know, the hits are coming from, the hits, like, get it right here, brain, get in gear. The hits keep coming for Facebook. The social networking site has posted a large decline in customer satisfaction, according to the American Consumer Satisfaction Index e-business report conducted with a customer's experience and analytic firm 4C. Facebook dropped 8%, setting at a score of 61 out of 100 possible points scale. It is a record low for the social media category, and it places Facebook in the bottom of 5 companies of the 230 measured by the index.
Right.
So
those are technology companies, then.
right.
In other words.
So in other words, Facebook, I'm not jumping on the bandwagon or anything else. But, you know, these places keep giving you these survey questions, and 1 is the worst and 10 is the highest. And these people that give every company or these companies a 10
right.
have got to be out of their minds, because there's no company.
No, nobody's perfect.
No company is that good.
No.
Not even Microsoft Windows.
Right.
Why? Because all these updates that keep coming through weekly.
Yep. Exactly.
So if they were perfect, they would be a 10. They're not even close to a 7. You
People
see?
got to remember that, humans program these computers, and a human's not always perfect, so
Well,
all the technology is not going to be perfect either.
A computer only knows what it's told.
Right.
No more, no less, and they do not assume.
Right.
And these people that get on there and assume these computers are right, the computer doesn't assume. It only knows what the people have entered into it.
Correct.
If it's a false statement, it's going to print out false. If it's a correct statement, it'll print out correctly.
Yep.
So, Facebook, do your job. Google is, last year's worst traction seems to have slowed since its initial bust on the scene. So now what takes over that? Facebook.
Right, exactly.
So it makes Google look good.
Very nice.
So anything else?
I got one for new technology that could target and treat irregular heartbeats.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, researchers are reporting, and this is an article I found on CNET, that researchers are reporting that they have found for the first time that tiny electrical spinning tops, or rotors, within the heart that cause atrial fibrillation, a type of arrhythmia in which the heartbeat is faster and irregular. What's more, they found that by targeting the so-called eye of the storm, I guess you would say, that they could actually slow or even terminate the atrial fibrillation. The multidisciplinary team from University of California in San Diego and UCLA and Indiana University reported this back in the July issue of the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. Now that the researchers have been able to map out these so-called, I guess, hurricanes, you would say, within the heart, using new technique, which they call focal impulse and rotor modulation, also known as FIRM. They're reporting the new doubling in treatment success. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of the procedure is the researchers report that the new approach shut down or significantly slow down atrial fibrillation on average in just 2.5 minutes by this new procedure that they're doing.
Well, they've come a long ways with this heart stuff. Remember, I can remember way back in the 70s when this first thing to give people that extra 10 years of life with open heart surgery.
Right.
Well, that timeline has expanded to more than 20 years.
Oh, definitely.
With the open heart surgery. But now, technology has come so far as to go ahead and put stents in where they didn't need a lot of open heart.
Right.
And they're going more with the stents now, which I have to go August 15th and have a cardiograph, and then from there is probably stents.
This is why I brought up the topic on, like, right down your alley.
Well, I've been through it. I've been through it once, and now I'm going through it again.
Right.
This time around, the pain is in a different place.
Uh-huh.
When I first had it, it was right in the breastbone, in the middle of the chest, crushing it. Now it's like heartburn, only above the upper chest. It's a form of heartburn where the heart is, on the top side needs some stents in there.
Right.
So that's what's causing this. And when I get it, I have to go and sit down for a few minutes until this heartburn goes away. Like this morning, I'm just saying this morning, it's happened a many other times, is like I say, the technology is there. I went out to put up the canvas for or the canopy for the shower that my significant other's having.
Right.
And I went out there and started, and I got the canvas out of the garage, wheeled it down and back. By the time I got down and back, my upper chest burned so bad. So I know I got to have stents.
Right.
So there's no other way around it.
Right.
So August 15th, I go in for that stuff, and it's probably most likely, from what I understand, it's not going to be the groin type. It's going to be in the arm.
Right.
So they're going to go up through the arm and do it that way. So here we go with new technology. from
Right from the groin
3
area.
weeks, 3 weeks in the groin area to 3 days in the arm that you got to be settled.
Right.
I mean, you ain't going to go out and run a 500 meter relay.
Or
You know what I
marathon,
mean?
right, exactly.
After 3 days, you still got to take it easy. But you're not sitting in a chair watching television boredom
Right.
for 3 days. Well, some people like that.
Right. Well, this was a great find. I think they only did it on like 92 subjects so far, but to be able to shut down the arrhythmia and bring the heart back to a normal rhythm,
Right.
by taking care of these little small hot spots.
But usually a heart attack is a plugged artery or whatever, and it's
Well,
cholesterol. But I just thought of something, and I don't know how far it would go, but they put a catheter in you to put stents in. Why don't they take and put a little camera and a needle in there and go through the sidewall of where that cholesterol or that buildup is, and liposuction or microsuction or whatever, like they do with your butt, the fat.
Right. Liposuction.
Why couldn't they
I'm
do
sure
that with that?
I'm sure it's upcoming technology, I'm sure.
Well, I'm saying it's an idea that they could develop on,
Right.
Who thought of it first? Where did you hear it first? On Tech Talk Live with JJ and Flipper, or Snide.
I'm Flipper. Yeah, right. How come you didn't do that today, huh?
Yeah, I'm Flipper, the greatest seal, or whatever.
Anyway, another issue is that on a related story, they're coming up with 3D X-ray, provides windows into the heart health.
I heard of that 3D
Right.
heart. They're taking pictures of 3D all the way around.
Yeah, and I can't wait to read. I got to read the article on that, but that sounded really.
What it does is where the one side or one whatever, and then they were doing the. I was just in it here not too long ago, and they injected me with a dye or the nuclear whatever.
Right, the MRI or the CT scan.
Well, it goes all the way around, and
Right.
it takes all the way around the heart, and now they're doing it with
Echocardiogram there.
and now they're doing it with the X-rays that they're going to be able to see and pinpoint any spot, and it's going to go right around the whole heart, so you can see the top, bottom, sides, everything but the inside, really.
Nice.
But they can see the hot spots, the dead spots, whatever.
Uh-huh.
But what do you want to know about this technology? I'm not a rocket scientist,
Me neither.
but like I say, a lot of this information is out there on the web, and you can really look it up. Do your Google search or whatever you use.
Right. Give us a call on it. 315-220-0692, and we'll try to look up the answer for you.
And
Really.
or if you got a comment on it, we'd love to hear your comment.
Exactly.
So any week.
Anyway, we got about 7 minutes anyway, or you got anything
Well,
up there?
I got something that I downloaded this week, and
Right.
what do you want to hear? The wireless charging will keep toxic waste out of the landfills, or do you want to hear about the first ever self-chilling can?
I have the self-chilling can, of course.
Oh, we want to hear about that.
Oh, yes.
New technology. This is
New technology, and a lot of people are going to love it. You're going to be buying it like the little coolers you put on your beer cans, I'm sure.
well, this is what it is. It's all in the beer can. Now let's see if I can read it because the stuff is so small. And 20 years ago, Mitchell Joseph set out to solve one of the greatest challenges of the modern age: how to make a beer can or a can of beer that cooled itself.
Right.
And I thought this was interesting. He designed a can that would use and release the coolant HFC 134A. Where do you find that? In all your coolant refrigerants, because of the environmental, because you couldn't use the coolant
Environmental
30,
issues right.
the coolant 34, refrigerant.
Yep.
So it all went to this new HFC 134A.
Environmental safe.
So his prototype worked. It cooled a liquid dramatically in a matter of minutes. But there was a hitch. The HFC 134 is a greater, a greenhouse gas 1,400 times. The print is so fine that I should have raised the print size up. 1,400 times as pollutant as carbon dioxide. All right, prepared. Popping one of these of Joseph's cans was the environmental equivalent of driving 500 miles, and it was illegal under the EPA regulations. So then he turned around and he come up with his chiller can. How many more minutes we got? I'm just reading.
We got about 4 minutes probably.
All right. Then I'll go through this here. The chiller can contains a cylinder chamber of high-pressure CO2 gas now.
Okay.
So once this is released with a twist of the button on the bottom or whatever, but how much is it going to cost or whatever, that's something that's to be determined.
Right.
So the CO2 is released around the can or around the fluid, so it's got to be a double-wall can, really.
Right, it's going to keep it cool.
So it's released, and like I said, the can can't hold that pressure in.
Right.
So it's got to escape out into the air. So this would make the can or chill the can or the liquid in 3 to 4 minutes.
Oh, very nice.
Or 2 to 3 minutes, whatever it is here it says.
Right.
So the drink will be available this summer in Arizona, Nevada, Southern California, and online.
Does it come with a specific drink, or does it come with?
Well, it says beer,
so
just
like a cooler.
It said just beer, but
right.
Anyway.
So I wonder if it's just like a cooler that you put.
So
in.
2014, hopefully, beer will not be next, or whatever. Beer will be next. So
right.
this is another, not a beer, but it's not an alcoholic beverage.
Right.
But it's a
test marketing product, probably.
Product, right? But he says hopefully beer will be next.
That'd be cool.
So it sounded pretty good about the can, but how expensive is this, and what kind of where are you going to be able to return the can? Are you going to be able to return the can, have it refilled, recycled?
Right.
You know, there's a lot to this stuff. I'm a recycle nut. I don't know why.
The more it becomes popular, more jobs it's going to create, because you have to find a new way of recycling it. I'm sure, probably.
Well, I'm just questions and answers.
Right.
And
like
anybody want to contribute to that real quick? Call us 315-220-0692. You only got a couple minutes left.
Couple minutes left
to make your call. So that was pretty neat, that self-cooling can, you know. And at first it was, but
well, they had that one that we were talking about earlier before the show started, that
the
flopped.
refrigerant.
It kind of flopped, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not the same guy.
Yeah, but anyway, that takes care of that. And then next week, I guess I'm gonna go on this Quantum router, and I'm gonna review that next week, and then how wireless charging will help the toxic waste out of their landfills. So I got that for next week's show. I don't know what you might come up with.
Well, I just had one more thing with it's called Expat Shield. It was something to help power better connectivity online in order to watch the Olympics. And it's up and running and thousands of downloads since there was a lot of problems with the British television and getting the live feeds. This was just an internet connectivity that you can watch real quick. It's a VPN service.
They were saying about the NBC, the franchise of it,
right?
And people were getting around that because they didn't want to wait for NBC to post whatever they had to post on winners and all that.
Right. A lot of talk, a lot of commercials.
And they were getting their information through the BBC or B.
Yeah, this is linked straight into the BBC.
In which it's instant.
Right, exactly.
When the winner wins, it's instant,
Right. It connects you right to the Olympics.
So anyway, I guess NBC, and there's going to be lawsuits over it or something, from what I understand.
Huh. Yeah, if you want to look at it real quick before we go off there, it's Expat Shield, EXPAT. Looks like it's just a download for Windows only right now. So if you want to check that out real quick, if you're into the Olympics and want to get rid of your...
well, Olympics are almost over. Well, the closing ceremonies are tomorrow night, aren't they?
Yeah. It's going to be soon.
You got to congratulate Michael Phelps for all of his wins.
Right.
He's up to 20 medals, from what I understand.
At least, I think.
It was 20 medals, and he had 2 more races to go or something like that when I seen it.
So,
and then the other swimmers and the other Gabby, Gabby, what's her name, that done the competition on the horses and the bars and the parallel bars in the gym and all that stuff. She was fabulous.
Anyway, I think it's about that time.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, whenever we get the closing message.
Okay. How's that?
That's good.
Anyway, you've been listening to Tech Talk Live. I'm JJ.
I'm Snide.
And we'll see you next week.
Flipper will be back, hopefully. See ya.
See ya.
You've been listening to your technology talk show. Tune in next time to Tech Talk Live.